Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the Dean Korp podcast. I'm Korp.
I'm Dean.
And grab a drink, grab a seat, and we're talking camping today.
Yeah.
All
We're talking about camping because I'm going camping this weekend for my birthday. I turned 30 on Friday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Happy birthday to your son as well.
Yeah, it's going to be Saturday, so we got a nice birthday.
And then shout out to Chris's kid. I don't know her name.
Sabri?
Yeah, she's turning 1 on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 27, 28, 29, man.
Yeah.
It's super funny.
All the birthdays
right in a row.
Yeah. My nephew's is the 30th as well, so another baby right in there. And
I have a cousin who's on the 30th as well, dude.
How many other birthdays,
Leslie,
crazy.
The chick at work, her birthday's the 28th.
All right. Yeah. That's like 7 people.
Yeah, and Lisa's birthday was last weekend.
All right, man.
All in like 8 days.
Yeah.
Just like all these birthdays.
So what do you got planned? Where are you headed?
I was just looking at a couple state parks in Michigan. There's a couple like 30 minutes away, like Seven Lakes State Park, which seemed okay, but that's like 30 minutes away. I want to go. I might as well just go to the west coast of Michigan, I'm thinking. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. But yeah, I'm thinking west coast of Michigan. Like if we go to, I think it's So what's south of Ludington? Marquette?
There's some good areas up there.
Yeah. Marquette's in UP. I'm not really sure, but I was thinking west coast. Somewhere I just want to be on a lake somewhere we can paddleboard. Just me and Britt. I want to go into 30, just kind of like in nature, relax a little bit. That's what's up. Smoke a little weed.
I got a recommendation would be Arcadia. There's a little hotel on the water, if I remember it correctly.
Where's Arcadia?
It's hard to show on.
So it's up near Traverse City area.
Put the hand up for Michigan. It's to the top left.
Okay.
Traverse City. You could probably make it to there in like 45 minutes. It's like a 3-hour drive if you're not going to speed.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that was like right in the wheelhouse.
But then you can go to the Bear Dunes are not too far out of the way. There's a couple other places that traveling there kind of makes sense because it's the other places that you can go to Frankenmuth.
Cool.
I think. Well, I mean, some of you are closer to places that are like, okay, this is only 30 minutes from here.
Yeah, it's not as far.
Because travel times are a little different when you're driving on those kinds of roads and
stuff
stuff like that. It's not like cities. So
no, like you're driving. If you drive 200 miles in Michigan, that takes 200 minutes. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's just long, straight.
Where we are, yeah. So fun, Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, we got a great backyard though. I appreciate it a lot.
What's your favorite camping tool, asset?
My hatchet.
The hatchet. You can't go anywhere without the
hatchet.
I
like the hatchet.
So if I go camping, I have to get a hatchet.
I think it's fun. I think it's the most fun thing to play with, to whittle sticks with, and chopping wood's always a good time. I'm gonna start learning how to do more things with it. I've been watching a ton of these videos on YouTube of the guy. I fucking love it. It's like my morning in the bathroom, kind of just sitting there. It's like the guys who go out in the middle of nature and just take one hatchet and a couple metal tools. They build entire things out of logs and make setup camp in their whole own way. He just chops wood for hours. But at the end of it, this dude just built himself an entire shelter, completely handmade. Yeah, it's super sick, dude. I love watching that.
I need 6 hours of daylight.
Yeah,
that's it. Just
oh, these guys work though, but you can tell they're fucking good at it. The structures they make at the end. I'll send you some of the videos. The structures they make at the end are super awesome. Cool. Then just going around I want to make camp chairs and shit like that, out of wood. So it doesn't seem too incredibly hard.
No, it doesn't. Basically, especially if you're in places that are less traveled, so there's more fallen, branches to make your job a little easier.
Yeah, and cutting down a small tree, I don't think is super illegal, but we got so many of them here.
Yeah,
I can imagine it'd be a big deal.
It's tough, because of being in the industry we're in now and learning about trees and growing, they're not as strong as they used to be because those ones are cut.
Yeah.
And so they're not gonna have that 20-year lifespan. These
things need a 100-year maturation phase to be really strong wood.
Yeah. And I remember going to campfires and growing up as a kid, and those are always fun s'mores. And anytime you're allowed to play with fire, I think is a plus, a bonus for most people. That's just cool.
Fire is one of those things that when me and Britt did our USA travel, that at the beginning of the trip, I thought I knew a lot about fire and how to maintain a good fire, and that there's actually artistry to it. I'll call it straight artistry, because to have a good fire that burns well and maintains the right amount of fuel and air versus most of the time people will just take a log and just
well, it depends on what you're doing. If you're not if you're trying to cook on it.
Yeah.
Like the lay of the logs mean a lot because depending on what type of tools you're working with to cook and what you're actually cooking.
Yeah.
Are you dangling something over the fire?
Yeah.
Are you,
most of the time you just want like a pile of coals.
Yeah.
So some people I don't know. I see a lot of people smother fires. That's probably like one that I'm like, you don't need to do that. Fire always needs more air than it does fuel, like almost every time. So you can get good fires going with less fuel if they have the right amount of airflow.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge thing that I learned. I tried like all the different ones you see, the TP, the little log cabins and all that. And they all stand up differently just with wind. Like, is it really windy? Go with a log cabin. Is it really, or at least for me, like what I've learned in my experience is go with a log cabin. If it's a nice, even keel tempered day, no wind, build the TP because that fire will burn just straight up.
For me, it's always like, what logs am I trying to catch on fire? Yeah. Essentially, like I can catch the twigs and the paper on fire. That's going to happen. But like, is the log like a huge, like 10-foot log that's like going to take forever to even like get to that point?
Starting the fire is like, you want to start with like the smallest materials and feed it. You have to I think for the first 10 minutes of any fire, you're just feeding it. Like to get a really good fire going, I would just sit there and like just constantly a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
You're hearing the birds. Logs. I think most people are just taking gasoline.
Oh yeah.
And
pour it on like a big stack of logs. But even then, I've seen those fires go out when people try to hit them with gas and let it roar. But because there was no foundation for the fire underneath.
Yeah.
But I could probably sit here and just bullshit about a fire for fucking ever. But yeah, dude, I love camping, man.
I mean, nature's just peaceful. Like, and I didn't have a whole lot of it until me and you started hanging out. I mean, we go up north. We went somewhere with Mispa and a group of us. I remember Scott was it might have been your birthday.
So I was like 24 or 5. I think we went to Manistee.
Okay.
Yeah, was Alex and Altia there?
I think so. Yeah.
Yep, Mariano.
Yeah, we went up in the sand dunes and all that. Yeah. Like, that was like my first taste of it since for like a large cat. For whatever reason, all the nature stuff was on my mom's and my stepdad's side, and that relationship soured a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't do those things. I still, stayed with the sports side of it, but not the outdoorsman side of it, where I could have learned a lot from my stepdad as far as shooting a bow or a gun or anything like that.
That's always stuff that would have been cool to get into.
Personal reasons, and that's something about being a man is that you look back and say, I could have done that better. But like as a boy, I needed guidance, and I had 4 parents that were kind of squabbling amongst themselves.
Yeah. What can you tell me again?
I'll leave it up and we'll see if anybody can get this. My stepdad's ex-wife is my stepmom.
Yeah. So that always gets me. You have to sit there and think about it.
We'll let that marinate for a week. You guys can think on that. If you're in the chat, leave an answer. If not, check us out. Do we have our Twitter set up? I think it's Dean Korp is the one I set up our Twitter account at.
Okay, you did?
Just DEANKORP.
Done.
So at Dean Korp, you guys can holler at us. Any answers, we'll start tweeting out here soon. We wanted to get more than just us listening. So it's nice. Thanks for listening.
If you're the 2 people out there that the internet says have listened to our stuff, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll answer any questions you have.
Yeah, email.
And we'll even talk about a topic you guys want us to.
What's the email?
DeanCorpPodcast@gmail.com.
All right, so that's out there. We can
and Corp with a K always. Corp, not like a corporation.
Yeah, or corporal. It's corporal.
Yeah, corporal.
It's its own thing. Think Korpolowski, Polish.
Is that what it was?
That's what
Did you get your name shortened? Oh, okay.
The guess is my grandpa told me that at one point. So it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like 8 or whatever. Made sense. And then if he ever said it again, it reinforced it. And it was like, oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, it could be a total bluff.
Isn't it crazy how information from your elders in prior generations is all really the information we have to go off of? That's inherited. So this thought fucking freaks me out a lot, bro. It's like I get really, really skeeved out about who gives me
I think one
information.
Thing, your common sense brings you back to the
the
moment,
and it should.
And so when you go down a rabbit hole like this, where you're like, man, society's all based on a lie.
In a sense, it's based off of somebody telling somebody this is the way it is, and people believe
as adults playing was the telephone.
Yeah,
you got to say it between 20 people.
Yeah,
only takes one person to mess that line up.
Yeah.
But if I just change the name from his name to my name, now everybody remembers me. So the names are completely thrown out.
Absolutely.
You can't even go with cool. names
you
are
could
you
have
have to
changed it at
name
any
it 'cause
point.
you have to describe
You
it.
fight a
and
couple
make sense.
wars, you wait 3 generations, and everything goes away, and you forget who named it what way for what reason, and now it's just that it's always been that way.
Yeah, I think that having a lot of maps and like from different regions help us put those pieces together, right? That's kind of how we do it. And then like somebody's tasked with the idea of like either renaming something, naming it, like you gotta describe this area that like is, oh, we just found this new area. We gotta call it something. So then there's like a name for the name of the place, But where are we going?
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like that rabbit hole of like who gave us the information we have that we believe to be super true. I mean, stuff with history, especially.
So one thing that just jumps out to me right now that like makes sense to me. I think there's a Netflix original or a special on it where it's the food, like how being a vegan and eating meat are like you're eating the meat to get the food from the plants. So like the nutrients you get out of the meat are the same nutrients you would get from like the plants.
Yeah, because that's
So we get like a less percentage of it because it's like worked down into the meat and then how they process it. So like if we just eat vegetables, we'll actually be stronger.
So you're saying that if we skip the meat and go right to the veggies and go right to
you're getting more of that.
Okay.
That's what the special was talking about. Mixed with like obviously exercise, you can be stronger than if you didn't do that. And these bodybuilders went on a
straight vegan diet.
And they were like lifting more.
Really?
And now, there's other factors, and they try to explain that in the thing where the guy's like working towards a goal as well, not just
it could be placebo.
But he's being a vegan to try and win the whatever title.
Yeah.
And so like he's already working really hard. So like maybe he achieves it with meat.
Yeah,
because he's at this pinnacle of his life,
and he's he's also driven and confident, right? And like if you're on a goal, and
so but changing your diet, sometimes you need something to ignite you.
Yeah,
like for instance, perfect example is my moving. That's gonna ignite a lot of things that like these matches are set, no excuses now. Like am I gonna blow these out?
Yeah,
and I'm gonna like not have the willpower to quit. Essentially. And it's like, just be better. And it's such a simple idea, but then those moments I have to win.
And your goals should have goals. That's one thing that I've always learned is like, so if I set a goal, like I'm going to eat, my goal is to not make my gout hurt. I have gout. I got gout like 2.5 years ago and it fucking hurts. It hurts when I eat scallops. It hurts when I eat pork. It hurts when I eat like a lot of things that have uric acid in it. So like, but those two specifically, like seafood, shellfish, and pork.
Now, were you told that by a doctor?
No, but hurts.
Your personal research found, or like I ate this and I don't like it.
Oh yeah, no, I ate that, and then like a day later,
almost like a food diary.
Like it just I know that like what could I eat that sparks up gout? Because I grew up, my dad had gout.
Okay,
he would be like, oh, I ate this. Like 3 or 4 days later, my foot would start to hurt if I ate this because my body broke down the uric acid, and the uric acid crystals get stuck in between the bones of your feet.
So if I ever get gout, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, if you ever just get an insane pain, it feels like I can never describe it. Like think of 2 joints coming together and then somebody taking a screwdriver and trying to pry them apart. That's how it feels to me. Like you're like I don't know. Like it feels like somebody sticking something in there trying to peel my bones apart at like the horizontal level and split them up. Like that's how it feels for me from eating food. So I had a goal. I don't want my fucking foot to hurt. So what are the sub goals inside the big goal category that get me there? Well, I could stop eating pork. Goal 1. How do I stop eating pork? Well, I have to figure out something else I have to eat all the time instead of pork because I eat pork all the fucking time. I eat seafood all the fucking time. So like I had to hard switch to like more fish, more chicken, like a lot more turkey, no more ham sandwiches. And it's like little things. Day to day, you're presented with an option and you just have to be big enough in that moment
you have to
say no
and building the habit of like what the right answer is because like
and you got to learn to say no.
You turn 30, I'll be 33 by the end of the year.
And
it's like we've wired our brain a certain way. And I read an article when I was like 22 or something that I remember. I was on a plane or doing something where I would have a magazine in front of me because I was never a magazine guy. But so if I had a magazine, it was either in the 90s for wrestling and I was a child or I was on a plane for the most part. Or
I was going to say like a porno.
No, because I ushered right into
internet,
puberty and internet.
Oh, so you're like right there, like right before paperbacks.
Squibble vision. Well, it's like wavy. You didn't experience this.
Or on the TV.
Yeah, like on cable TV, you go up to like
exactly
the 88 channel when you don't have a box, and it's like
my childhood buddy Joey's grandpa had Skinamax, so we were like Saturday night we'd stay up till 2 a.m. as hard as we could for like the shit that we weren't supposed to watch.
Yeah, and it's even better when you're told not to watch it, because then when you get to watch it, it's like
I don't even know what's going on. I didn't even know what was happening.
Nope. It wasn't until you knew what was happening that you knew why you were happening, and then okay.
I mean, I will say, never mind. I'm not gonna.
But like once I was 6th, 7th, 8th grade is when I started liking girls, being taught about that.
Yeah.
At the same time, they tried to make it line up. You don't want to be too early, too soon.
Yeah.
But like
you don't want to be too late.
You can't be too late.
Can't be too late.
And now I think for sure, if I had a daughter, we're talking I don't know, man. Like. Dude, it's like real soon. It's sooner than I would with my son.
Yeah,
but like,
I feel as though if I had a daughter, I would like let her know right away. Men are fucking gross.
Guy we work with, his daughter turned 18. Happy birthday! But like that's a notion. Like, okay, this is like. Daughter's 18. This is when it gets real.
Like, all the way up until like 24.
See
like
his face.
Oh,
his face is like
he's so worried.
He's happy for his daughter. You can see that he
just wants her to be 30 already. He just wants her to be like. There's no way he doesn't want her to be.
Think he's got 4 kids.
Over
4 more kids. So he's not done worrying for a while anyway. But like 18,
make good decisions at 18 or don't. I mean, you're not supposed to though. Like that's the worst thing. It just sucks when it's your daughter.
Well, you are supposed to make good decisions. I think as humans that like we are exposed to so much information if we want it.
Yeah, and to a fault though.
But like simple things like not speeding, not drinking and driving, not the vehicle stuff that like gets everybody caught up. If you avoid
I'm definitely
that,
thinking more in the realm of sex stuff.
And then for sure. Yeah, I'm just saying like financial stuff with like credit and all that. There's all these informations that at 18 you could be projected. You could be doing than like
the right thing.
Yeah, but like when it comes to sex, man, like it's
like the biggest focus of your late teens and early 20s. Like, dude, that's what everybody.
I was a rabbit, and
that's what they all wanted.
I was probably awful to these females.
I look back and
I couldn't even fathom because I just didn't even acknowledge it.
But they still showed up. That's the thing that I think of because I still think of like, okay, maybe I wasn't like the sweetest sometimes when I needed to be, or like wasn't caring and
and I don't want to speak to something I don't know, but there was always a thing by saying I didn't want to be in a relationship that made them try so much harder.
That was the biggest line,
but it wasn't meant to be a line,
but it works. This line, so it's crazy. I don't understand it.
Like, no, stop it. Yeah. I don't want a relationship and you have feelings.
Yeah.
And like, they just thought that like they could like,
when it becomes a battle or like they have to prove something. It's a pride thing.
And so like you can't speak to that being men. Like we know our egos and our pride.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of things, but like I don't see it through a female's eyes. I can't speak to that because I'm sure they have that. I think like, it's more of an individual based thing then, because some might not have that certain level of pride that men do with the stupid things.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that.
Like, we have a lot of dumb things that we like go to bat for. We're gonna go to war. We're gonna stand on this hill.
But just all off of ego.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, just off of ego, pride, and like I'm right. Like I've gotten in arguments with like my closest friends, like Scott and I. Love you, Scott, but we like definitely butted heads in our early 20s. Like we just dudes being dudes.
Especially
and, like,
if there's any like alcohol involved.
Yeah, booze for sure.
Increased and emotions are a little bit limber.
You get a little frustrated sometimes. It's easy to take out your early 20 frustrations on your relationships.
Yeah, because we were a friendly group of guys with the ladies, and if a couple guys would join us and not get theirs, they would get butthurt.
Yeah,
because they saw everybody else having the blast.
Well, you don't want like to be the odd man out.
Yeah, but sometimes you are.
Yeah,
and you gotta accept it.
Yeah,
that's what being a good friend is.
Yeah,
it's not being selfish.
But honestly, if you play it cool, it probably will still work out for you better in the long run.
Yes,
but that's like all wisdom shit. That's what I'm saying. Like at 18, for your friend's 18-year-old daughter, like she's gonna have to go out there and do guys that were dumb like us being dumb guys and learn the dumb lessons that she's gonna have to learn. Like I think it's in this modern society, like
but
I feel like.
But as a girl, if you understand the concept of putting the pussy on the pedestal,
you can control the men.
Yeah.
But those like, there's a few women I've met like that before who are just like knew the power
Like, so
new, like they've manipulated. I don't know.
Men are meant to leave at 18 to 24, buy a house, get a girl, have her move in, marry, have family.
Yeah,
that's like prototypical idea right now.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Females stay at home, get proposed to, move in, have wedding. You see the difference there? There's this gap where your daughter will be home longer, I think, than or maybe not, but like the transition period, I feel like is like that's my hope for a daughter.
I think that's super. 1950s.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think that
there's
whole
more and
notion's
more
like
people
hella 1950s.
leaving home, go to college, go off and do something.
Yeah.
Coming home and spending the rest of that time on insurance until 26 now.
Yeah.
So 26 is like the new age to stay home till.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, like
I kind of would hope that my kids would take the route that I did, where I don't want to say I tried to struggle. I have really good parents. I could have come home to them whenever I'd liked, but I didn't. And I always made things harder. I didn't want to say I made things harder for myself because that sounds bad too. But like I put myself out there. I wanted to see what I was worth, what my grit was. Like, can I handle, like for 3 months, all I ate was fucking ramen because I didn't want to ask my mom and dad for $20 for food. You know what I mean? Like I had enough gas for my tank to get to Potbelly and back to my shitty apartment with my shitty girlfriend at the time. We were just shitty to each other. And it was just shitty. The whole thing was shitty, right?
Yeah.
But my parents lived 5 miles away, 10 miles away, or whatever it was. I could have gone and mom, dad, they would have helped me out. They would have been there. But what does that do?
But that shows more about your character and your drive. And like, you can't force that on. Because that's a push away. And I really think that that's a weird thing to try and do. And like, for me, trying to instill a family driven plan about the family that says go off on your own at 18. But it goes away from the family-driven plan. So if you make that decision to do it on your own, I'll get you to where you want to go, and I'll help you as much as you want to help.
Right. But that's what my parents did. They said that, like they just the support. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's more the support of like. I guess we can't blanket statement any of this,
right?
Because like one, we don't have 18-year-old kids. First off,
yes.
So that's what this is all me just thinking about how I would handle myself,
which is good because it's
18.
introspective, and then how you view yourself going forward.
Because I think you gotta. My dad and mom did the right amount of go do this, but like didn't push me to do it super hard. They were like, "Here's what we think is a good idea." I never listened to any of it. And, I ended up doing my whole another thing. But the point was that they did try to support me, and they did end up just supporting me in whatever I did. And I think that was the biggest part of any of it. Even if I'm not. And now this isn't to say like if your kid wants to be a slut. For some reason, the stereotype's backwards, right? Like, if when we were young men in our early 20s, I mean, like, I wasn't. It was a cool thing to go bang a bunch of girls. I mean, just to put it as blatantly as you could.
You were high five.
Yeah, you were high five. Your bros thought you were cooler. Some girls thought you were kind of cooler too. I didn't understand. I never understood that part.
The referrals. Were
like people were like, it's cool to be a stud. Like, it's cool to be a stud. But you flip that on any woman. And what does that negative stereotype come down to? Almost every time, even still to this day. Oh, a little fucking slut. She's like a whore. She sleeps around. It's a negative connotation for a woman to do the exact same thing a man does.
Yeah, and I think
that I never liked.
It's more heavy, and that we just won't get away from that for a while.
I know that's super far.
And because most of us know how to piss off just about the opposite sex, and that's one way to get there.
Oh yeah, I mean it's such a fast track
because like they get to us real quick, and if we just call them a slut, they get exactly what we've got.
Yeah, like but it's like not even fair.
No, because it hurts.
I know
it hurts them.
Yeah.
What could you say? What name could you call me that's going to be painful to me? You can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to laugh at most of them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's clever.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, man, damn, that was pretty true.
Yeah.
Like,
You have to get pretty specific about me as a person.
Yeah, to get under my skin.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like it's most females in general, if you call any female a slut or a whore or, like, a whatever for sleeping around.
Yeah.
It's so negative.
It's a dirty word.
It is, dude. It is a dirty word. But, like, I can remember times where, like, even in my younger days when I was more ignorant to things like this and, like, less wise as I feel about it now, I guess. But, like, I would have called a girl a whore before for doing the same things I did or a slut or whatever and, like, not felt bad about it.
Not even thought twice.
Yeah, not even thought twice. And they're doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
And like that, and, like, looking back, just being, like you said, introspective and, like, what the fuck? Like then I was doing the same thing at the same time.
I had an alter ego.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. You're
like,
talking about your alter ego.
I mean, that's just like a different, like, and it wasn't necessarily a real crappy individual that I was trying to portray. It was just like a less of a more of a carefree, I'm a worrywart. I write shit down. I'm a planner. But like when you're in the middle of trying to mac on girls and pull game, like
you can't be that guy.
No, that's not the winner. Who wins? The alpha. I'm trying to be an alpha. Because that's how you win.
Right.
And that's how you get the girl. And sometimes being the beta does work, and sometimes just staying awake does.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see
so there's like different techniques depending on at the time of my life.
Yeah.
That what we were doing, because when you're hanging out with a group of guys consistently trying to do the same things, you know who your competition is, who the girls are. Like this is like not that I thought about it then like this,
right?
But like
when you're looking back at it, and you're like, oh, it's kind of like it was almost like a game. Yeah, it's like a movie. It feels like sometimes like it's like watching like Waiting.
Yeah, because I mean, like, oh man, if I just get really trashed, I'm just gonna get with some chicks, and it's gonna be a great time.
And if that works 3 out of 4 times, then it's worth it to go do it 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah, but it just spurred a drinking habit that just was like, this is like not a healthy dose of living. So.
Yeah, the boozing gets rough, especially in the industry.
Well, you think, I'm gonna get laid if I drink?
Yeah, and that's if that's all you want, but.
So it's like, so then you start drinking and you don't get laid.
Yeah.
And then you don't get laid.
And then you're drinking because you're pissed that you're not getting laid.
You're just drinking because you drink. And you're like, well, this is Thursday. If I go to this place.
Yeah.
Getting into some silly habits that way, going down, anytime you're following the bottle, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So
you should be going somewhere and then having.
And you just stop in to have a beer, like 3 drink beers, 4 beers, and then.
Yeah, I mean, there's moderation is something that I hope that people get taught soon, rather than just like cancellation.
I think moderation comes with patience and age. I just like maybe not age. Like I don't want to always say wisdom is associated with age, because you can get wise to certain things if you're exposed to them at a younger age. But like just being on the planet more years is more likely to give you the exposure. You know what I mean? Do you understand like the finite amount? Like at 17, you can get Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne learned a lot really fast, right? Yeah. He learned a lot about life really quick. He fast-tracked with but he wasn't necessarily wise. He just fast-tracked growing up and gained wisdom in that area.
Yeah.
But like over time, you're bound to gain that wisdom eventually. And I think when you get older, you can see things with more hindsight. You're like, oh, I've experienced that before. And I think right now, the younger generation is just like going through a lot, and we're going through a lot in our country. Yeah, there's a lot of feels. There's a lot of
get it off your chest moments where I just think people are getting past this. Say what you need to say, call out who you need to call out, whatever. It's like everyone's behind their computer at home.
The cancel culture, like because you said like moderation over the cancel culture thing, right? It's kind of what you were saying. Yeah, cancel culture is a fucking plague, because it doesn't give you any way to grow. Like, how are you supposed to learn from your failures if you cancel people? Like, how are you going to cancel somebody for something they said 10 years ago, and then we're like, you could be a different person. You can and you can't be a different person. You know what I mean? Like
James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy. He made a tweet 10 years ago, and within that time period, I believe he apologized.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%, but during that time, Disney fired him 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they resurfaced. So somebody was like trolling through James Gunn's tweets.
And then that person had to have enough clout to get that shit going, and then get people to listen, and then like bring it up. And it's like, what did this guy, why are we so unforgiving in our culture? Like, especially on that mass level, it keeps going.
You stopped at 29. Sorry.
Pause for just a moment.
Pause for station identification. No, I'm just kidding. There's a little technical issue here.
My mouse died.
All right, we're going again. Sorry about that. Back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
New topic.
Oh, cancel culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, just it's an easy way out. It's an easy way out to be like, you did a bad thing, I hate you, we're done with you. Like, where's the forgiveness side? And then it comes to the point where like we're at this thing with like, I didn't follow it too closely, the Ellen DeGeneres thing. From what I've come to understand is that Ellen DeGeneres was not a nice boss, and she was mean to people. Okay, like you can't cancel a woman and like call her all these that's it. I mean, from what I understand.
So if there was more, said some mean things.
She was mean. She might have said some racy shit. She might have, like, maybe, I don't know if she was just like calling anyone the N-word or if she was, being like a dick about certain things. I don't think she was like outwardly racist. I don't even think racism got brought up. She just sounded like she was a mean boss. Like,
let's see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, who cares? That's your fucking boss. She's Ellen DeGeneres. She's been successful for 40 years.
People love her.
Yeah, like, come on. You can't, like, who cares who the fuck she is?
To having the alter ego, because there are people on stage. There's another, I can't think of his name right now, but other people that I've heard that like are terrible to work with in the stage. But like when they're on, that's their show.
Yeah.
That's what
they're actors.
They're good. They're doing good.
She's a comedian.
You XYZ people wouldn't have jobs.
Yeah, like your whole studio wouldn't be here if she wasn't the Ellen DeGeneres show. Like, how are you going to be mad that your boss is a jackass? Like, everyone's had a jackass boss. Now you can, just because we can cancel her, she's famous, is going to become like the norm. Like, that's not. I mean, these are rich people. Like, I'm not trying to say like it just doesn't seem.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, boo-hoo. But like, it doesn't seem fair that our culture is going to start doing this to people. Because like, what if podcast sake, right? We get to like 1,000 followers.
Okay.
And we catch a little traction, right? Like, we
got the wrong thing.
You say the wrong thing. If any of our fucking future fans were like, we're canceling you guys because you said the wrong thing, like, well, okay, what did I say? How did I hurt your feelings? But at the same time, how can I grow off of that? Like, do you want to sit down and have a discussion? You're gonna be a fucking baby about it. Be like, you're fucking canceled, bro. Like, you're fucking done. You have nothing left. Like, behind your keyboard. Like, sit down and talk. Like, do you feel this way? I want to know if people feel the way they feel on social media. Would they ever say it out fucking loud? Would they ever come up to somebody and talk about
percentages that wouldn't, but
yeah, you know what I mean? Like the terrible things people say about each other, do about each other.
No,
like,
most of those people I know a particular person. I won't say his name, but he's definitely mighty behind the keyboard. But when you get him in person, he's not gonna be louder than a mouse.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
So like
but those people deserve a platform. Not everyone needs to be negative, and that's more or less just an idea of like. I had a conversation with somebody and he got through cancer and some other things, and he's telling me you have a choice to be positive, negative. It doesn't matter anybody in your life, and that's just he's like I choose to be happy. I work out and try to eat healthy, but like he's like my happiness is because I choose to be happy.
Yeah,
and if I don't make that decision, I'm going to be upset in some type of way.
But I think having the platform to come out and say that you're unhappy with things all the time, what does that do for you? It just breeds more. It brings more negativity. Yeah. You read other people, read other people's posts who had a bad day and they're feeling something the way you're feeling, and then now it's encouraged for you to keep feeling that way. And now you're supporting a community of people who want to be unhappy with things and don't want to learn and grow. Like, that's not how we've somewhere along with this internet thing, we're going to realize we fucked up our social structure really bad, because like the community, you used to have to be a part of it. Yeah. If you did, and if
this
you weren't,
was a long time coming. This is something that just happened with COVID. This is definitely something that has been in the works.
Oh, I was talking about that. Yeah, I feel like I felt like this for
kind
a minute.
Of put it, and it just like happened. Like everything is now electronic. Yeah, and that's how Amazon wants it to be.
Well, yeah, Jeff Bezos just $200 billion.
He just like
fucking Tesla became like, his stock at the start of this was down to like $600 or something like that. It stock's at like $2,000 a share now. Like, crazy, all the money. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, man. Like, how are people making money right now? Where's money being made? Who's being paid? Like, when our country's in all this duress, unemployment's high, people are freaking out.
I feel like business it should be almost back to usual, in a sense that like anything that is operating, that runs at a regular operation, should be operating.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you're right.
Imports, exports have been operating this whole time. It's just slower.
Yeah, for sure.
Slower, but like less. So you got, say you've 20 ships can arrive at port, maybe only 10 can during COVID times.
Yeah.
And so like there's different, like, okay.
But that affects a lot of industries.
It does.
Still a lot of jobs.
It does, but it just makes it slower.
Okay.
So if you're a good business, you're understanding the path. So in the construction, the wood is going up because we're using it. It's a lot of jobs are getting done.
Yeah.
Because people are at home doing it. So across the board, everybody's doing this. So you have how many Americans are homeowners that want to get siding?
Yeah, everybody just started doing a ton of.
So like they have these hubs that are, okay, steel's coming through because they're building stuff. Because the one thing that I will say is going to take a hit is like if you own a lot of rental buildings that businesses rent.
Oh yeah,
that is probably you're gonna make it through the year. But if I had one of those, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I'd sell it.
Yeah, because
as soon as I can.
We've had this talk, I think, even before, and I brought it up a few times, is like, what's going to happen to industrial office space after this? Like, you're not going to need a place that has 10,000 light bulbs and costs a $15,000 a month electricity bill without the rent. And like, you're going to be spending all this money to house people in a thing when like you can make people work at home, use their own electricity, use their own internet, use their own computers,
toilet paper,
all these little costs, all these little things, they add up. So like the business's overhead's going to go up.
In one of those skyrise businesses, you're paying that into rent.
Yeah.
And so like you're not paying for the toilet paper, you don't, and you might have an electric bill depending on how the contract works and stuff like that. You might be in charge of that, like a rental place. So that way, if you do have more lights off or you do have more than the average, it's not just a fee, I'm sure.
A lot of the time there's electric bill for sure. Yeah.
DTE's getting there. It's just a matter from who's paying it.
Yeah.
So, but that's got to be a huge, but like they're going to take that from having 100 people in that office to not needing more than 20.
Yeah.
Never.
So
it should be like 5 people that are at the central hub.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you would only need upper management to show up.
And then you're going to, we got to train people.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to have 2 more people in these cubicles over here for
these are the training cubes.
2 or 3 weeks until this person's up to speed. So that way, you have a 5-week training seminar, plus they stay there and do their job for another month, and then they can go work from home. Yeah. Or you have like a program set up 90 days, and then see ya.
Well, you can also afford to hire on more employees. Businesses can actually grow more jobs because they don't have much as much.
Eventually, the training can be not necessarily remote, but I can go to your house, show you how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, remote training is not going to be an impossible thing.
No, but like doing it on your computer and me coming here, how you're going to do it is beneficial, and then maybe that's just like next level training. But like.
Then you just pay one road guy to just drive around and go see all the people.
Like somewhat of an IT person.
You also don't have to.
It depends on the business.
You also not have to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I said you also not have to work in the same state.
Yeah,
like that's going to change up things too. Like if everything is virtual, if your whole job just became virtual and doable online, then that no longer puts the equation in terms of where you are in location.
I don't know how it works tax wise.
That's going to be where it gets kind of fucky
and finicky, but that's where you're going to have to adapt and just say, oh, well, you can't work in a different state and live in a different state. That's just like asinine to think that that's acceptable.
Yeah.
So to me, at least, like that's one of those things. Well, that's the way it was. It's not broke. Well, now it's going to be broke if we don't fix it.
Yeah.
But you can see it's
going to take money out of cities, but put money in different cities. Like, because what if you're paying to do $200,000 a year? You're a small business. You have, fucking 100 employees, or I guess a medium-sized business. You have 100 employees. You pay one dude $200,000 a year to head your sales, but he lives in Michigan, but your whole company is based out of Florida. But none of that money that you're paying and making is going back into the community of Florida. That money is going into the community of somewhere in fucking Michigan. That affects things. That does affect things, because if that happens on a higher scale, then... But I'm sure that would sociological.
Like on an import export that you want it to be even.
You would ideally because imagine you had your business out of Florida. You're making all this money in Florida from customers in Florida. Ideally, you'd want that money to trickle back into your own local economy to make that local area better. Well, but if that money is going to all these other economies,
really, if your business is in Florida, as long as you get that tax break for the state tax.
Oh yeah.
Then as a business owner, you're probably. Nice. Probably really excited, and it doesn't matter because then you're shipping it up to Michigan, and I'm sure there's some kind of like
tax he's got to pay on his own shit. Like, you sure you want to stay in Michigan? You got to pay state taxes.
Yeah, I mean, like because I think what it is it might be I think it's where the work is. No, I don't know because it's like I was gonna say it's where the work is. Like so, if I drove to Ohio and I worked in Ohio, it would be an Ohio income tax.
Yes, it would be. Like if you drove down to Detroit.
But if I'm working in Michigan and I never go to Ohio and the company's in Ohio, depending on the work, it's going to be very gray area.
I think exactly. Like how do you pay? I mean, that's probably a question for
you got to go through an accountant and it's got to highlight which ones apply and which ones don't.
Crazy.
I'm sure. I mean, but that's like if I'm an accountant, that's what I'm gearing up for. Like this is what you get. This is why I went to college.
That's one of those jobs that's indispensable. That's why that's why we're both going in the direction we're going. Like I'm trying to get into a business. That's why I want to do siding and construction. Like, any millennials listening, the labor gap's coming. They're going to talk about it in 10 years. Like none of the laborers are left. Sorry. Like none of the skill trades are left.
Engineering, plumbing,
all of
electrician. It. Like this is
this is the time.
This is your call. Like start learning it.
Pivot.
Because 10 years. Yeah. Make the move sooner than later.
If you're just a restaurant industry guy and you're, a drone to the, Friday night life, fucking make a change.
Do it.
Because it's worth it.
And you might make more at the restaurant, but your lifestyle will be better. I honestly feel that way.
And learn something to do with your hands. Make yourself valuable. Like the best, like it's good to be a good server and a good bartender. I have a lot of respect for the industry. I love it, but it's not a real skill trade. It is a trade. Bartending is at some level because you learn a skill. So I'll call it a trade for what it is, but it's not a trade that you can really show off and make more money off of because you're always at the whim of the institution you work in. But like if you are a fine carpenter, you could cut wood anywhere.
Well, I think
you're valuable anywhere.
For us, it goes back to the 7 different sources of income.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where you got to start at to understand why being a server isn't the lifestyle that gains you wealth and happiness.
No.
Like we are so desperately trying to achieve and fight and crawl for every day.
Yeah, we're shooting for this. Me and Korp have talked about it a lot. Like, we want 5 to 7 forms of income in our futures, like no matter what it be, like of all the wealthy people I've ever met. And, anyone who will attest to it is like the more money you can make through smaller avenues is better than, making one source of income.
One word that always stands out to me is residual.
Yeah.
And so that's like money that's going to be constant. It's like having a royalty on something or a patent where you're going to have a consistent flow, whether it's 4 times a year or something, but it comes like stocks.
Dividends. You count on those dividends.
So however you want to mix and match, that's like one grouping of ways to get that 7. But I think another great way is working with your hands and selling items.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, even at the more basic, can you take scrap or what other people would call trash?
Yeah,
fix it to a point, whether it's painting or not, and sell it. And that's
that's
key to that 7 different incomes.
Yeah, that's like purely it's just the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah,
I mean, me and Brittany would watch Shark Tank, and I'd get geeked off Shark Tank because like these guys are just entrepreneurs. They just see a goal and they want to work toward it really hard, and they sacrifice everything for it. So if you're not willing to do that to gain everything, then what are you doing? Like that's like kind of the mentality I've been going into this with, like learning to work with my hands versus like holding trays and working for other people. Like,
because guess what? That's always going to be there.
Yeah, I could go back to a restaurant whenever. They're not going anywhere, and right now they kind of did go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like restaurants are not. They're going to be a shell of what they were for a while. I really think so.
It's different being in them. It's different getting food from them. The menus are different,
and maybe that's what earlier. Just to like go back a second when you had said most regular industries probably back to normal. I didn't really think about it like that because like I've thought of it purely in terms of restaurant. I was like, oh yeah, like. Just in my head, because restaurants aren't back to normal. Right. Nothing's back to normal, but the normal 9 to 5 is probably just kicking now. Like
it's regular. It's specific to the industry, but I would say, the logistics company's still going. Construction's obviously full bore right now. So everything related to that, umbrellas up, into the other categories, and business has to conduct. Banks, my dentist is like, hey, we can get you by Friday.
Yeah,
they're caught up. Like the doctor was a week out. So like you went to the Secretary of State in Michigan, I think it's like 3 months for your appointment. So if you're looking to make an appointment.
So what we did, because I had to get the truck registered, is that you can call the day before and they'll let you know if there's a time slot at that time the next day.
Okay.
So if you check at 4, they're only gonna let you know if there's a time slot at 4 tomorrow. If you check at 4:15, they're only gonna let you know.
Well, they got 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour notice, but you can check and just see if one of those slots open up. So that was the little tip that helped us.
Okay, because I knew they needed to change it up a little bit because Michigan's trying to go to more of an electronic scheduling, and they've been trying, and then their system failed.
This is the great time for it.
Their system failed, and then so they got pushed back like 2.5 months.
Oh.
And they've been trying to catch up, and then COVID happened. So it's like. Where I don't know. Last I looked, because I just looked just in case. I was like, I don't think I need one, but like October was like the next like scheduled appointment because that's how I used to do it. It used to be like I could make it the same month.
I love making those. The appointments are the best. We started doing that when we lived in Nevada. Their system worked really well.
Yeah,
you couldn't even get an appointment.
But had they been doing it for a while?
Probably about as long as Secretary of State did.
Okay,
maybe like 4 or 5 years. I know Secretary of State started doing it before I left.
Okay.
So it's been like 5 years.
Yeah,
but it's like people are so archaic. People would rather
in Nevada,
they just want to get up early and go sit there for 5 hours because that's what their parents did and the parents before them.
It sounds like awful. Like I will try not to waste any time so I can waste time that I want to waste it.
Yeah, work hard now so I don't have to work hard. Like I've been saying, like I want to work hard so I don't have to work hard. Yeah, it's that whole thing. Like do it, just get it done so you can relax.
Exactly. You know? That's why I was thinking about doing 2 jobs during this. It's like, do I just like try and? But no, once I start doing my estimates, I'll be busy at night. Yeah, man. Once you get, there's so much in construction, bro, and like there's gonna be a Hardy job. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I believe in it. About to finish this Hardy job.
Yeah, they're endless, man. You got work. Don't worry about a lack of work.
Yeah, I know.
I see that board. It's like top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm looking to make
fun times.
Some more money by the end of the year.
So we got getting there. Anything you want to try? You want to?
No, I don't.
Off your chest. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to tweet at us or email us what we should talk about on future podcasts.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be back to the Friday.
Yeah, we did Wednesday this week just because of the birthdays and the chaos this week.
Yeah, it might be
Korp's moving next week.
Well, I start on Friday.
Start moving next Friday or this Friday?
Tomorrow I start the move.
Okay. Do you need? Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, no, Sunday is when I need your.
Okay, Sunday I got you.
I'm trying to get all that stuff done so that way I don't have to. I got a big plan. It's mapped out.
A lot of moving parts.
Well, I'm trying to get the least amount of trucks or the most amount of trucks for the least amount of trips.
Yeah.
So
are you gonna bring all 4 trucks out?
We're gonna have ratings, so I'm gonna go pick it up. So
okay.
3.
Okay, cool.
3 plus if grounded drives or not. That's dependent because of birthday, but day of the bed depends on you guys. Just like,
there's
a lot of variables moving parts. Thanks for listening to that.
Yeah, sorry.
Appreciate it. Tweet us at Dean Korp.
And then email us at deankorppodcast@gmail.com.
Right. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day. Have a good one, guys.
See you.
Oh, wait, we're not done.
Still live.
Still live on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Hi.